All right, welcome back to another beautiful day here in Bangkok, Thailand. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Grif, and this channel we're talking about retiring early, also living abroad here in Bangkok, and also give you some advice here if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel. But anyways, today I thought I'd talk to you guys more about how it all started. I think when I started this channel, I didn't kind of explain like how we started with the retirement process and what got us involved in getting the idea to start retirement early. And so I'm kind of going to step back in time and kind of give you kind of a couple of things that we talked about or did to prepare for our early retirement. And when I'm going to explain all the stuff that I do in regards to retiring early, I'm going to try to avoid telling you guys what you guys have to do or should do, and more or less kind of give you an idea of what we did as a couple to put ourselves in position to retire early and to also be financially free. So with that said, let me go ahead and start back to when we first got married. And it was funny because my wife came up to me one day and said, you know what, I want to retire early, right? And back then I was like, I'm more used to the more conventional way of retiring, and saving up Social Security, your 401k at the end of 60, 65 years of age. That's when you retire. That's what I was thinking. But when she said that, I thought, you know what? Yeah, why not? And I was like, we can do that. So I didn't know how to go about doing that in terms of preparing to retire early, because you got to imagine this was before the time of YouTube. This is before the time of the FIRE movement, right? So we didn't know much about FIRE. We never heard about FIRE at that time, and so it was before that time. And also never heard of also Dave Ramsey. I know some of you guys may have heard Dave Ramsey. He's popular within the community for getting out of debt. So never heard of Dave Ramsey either. So with that said, it was just all about what we needed to do and plan for that kind of retirement process. And reflecting upon that the other day and trying to give you guys an idea of what we did and try to give you the best, I guess, not to say advice, but the best description of what we did. And a couple things that came to mind. The one thing that came to mind was really, I think the most important part of retiring early was to get out of debt. And I know this is kind of unique for us in our situation, but for my wife and I, we got out of debt right when we got married. We combined our income, paid off all of our debt, and then we were done, right? So, and back then we also had good jobs. We didn't make six figures, but we both had good jobs, and so we were able to pay off all our debt, and we've been debt-free ever since we've been married. So that's one way of making sure that you can retire early, is to be debt-free, number one. Number two, it kind of goes in line with what Dave Ramsey said about his kind of debt-free process and baby steps. One of the things he talks about is once you become debt-free, have amount of savings saved up, and then you want to pay off your home, right? And that's what also he said. So, but we did that, like I said, without Dave Ramsey's, I guess, knowledge and experience. We did that before that time, and so we paid off our home. So we were completely debt-free, not only from our, other debts, but also our home. So we lived our lives married, being debt-free, and that was a big benefit to us retiring early. Oh, and I came down here by the street vendors. Let me go and show you this. As you see, there's street vendors out, and I'm a little bit later in the morning, so a lot of these people are kind of closing up shop, but they were really busy earlier. I walked by here earlier, and I wanted to show you guys this area. That's one thing I love about Bangkok, is that we have a lot of these vendors on the streets, and I love shopping at these vendors in the streets. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so when we were debt-free, that gave us a lot of opportunity to start investing, because basically when you're debt-free, you have a lot of extra money to invest, right? The next component to our retirement early and preparing for retirement early is how we spend our money. And we are not like, how do I say, we're not cheap, right? But at the same time, we spend money on things that we want and need. and we try to avoid spending money on like frivolous things that you don't really need, right? Give you one example. One of the first cars we bought when we got married, we bought a used car, and we only had one car, right? And that kind of minimized a lot of expenses as well, because we worked from home at the time, and that worked out really convenient for us. The second part to that is like when we, had a home, we only bought furniture and things that we needed for the home, right? But we didn't have a lot of, how do I say, knickknacks. I'm not a big fan of clutter. I don't like a lot of clutter. I don't want to have to clean around a lot of clutter. So wherever we moved, right, bought homes, we minimized like the decor, kept it really simple and clean. And I guess this is another thing. I kind of lived a minimal lifestyle before the minimal lifestyle fad even happened, because that's the way I lived, right? I didn't like to have a lot of stuff. So in our home, we didn't have a lot of stuff, and we had one car, and our house was not a cheap house either, guys. Our house is over $250,000 home, 3-4 bedroom home, and a 2-3 bedroom bath home, so our homes were a good sized home. So we paid all that stuff off and lived debt free. And so then when we were ready to get out and retire, guess what? We have all that money, equity in the home, right? Cash that you can invest. Seriously. So that worked out really well. And so we lived the minimal lifestyle. We just bought the things we wanted. And also, one thing that was really important that I think you guys should be aware of, because a lot of people, when they hear about my lifestyle, they think, oh, he's really cheap. He don't spend no money. He don't do anything. I mean, that's a boring life, just saving, right? But no, guys, what we did was, we directed the money to the right path. Well, what I mean by right path is we used it more for enjoying life, and we traveled. So even when we got married, we had a thing in our kind of marriage thing where we said that we're going to travel 2 international destinations every year for a holiday vacation, right? And that's how we spent our money, to enjoy time and travel and experiencing life. And we didn't buy each other like wedding gifts. We didn't buy each other like birthday gifts or Christmas gifts. We put that money towards having a holiday and vacation, going somewhere. So we traveled many parts of the world, and I won't go through the list because we've gone all over. But at the same time, I know a lot of people, when they look at us and our lifestyle, they think, oh, they don't spend their money. They basically just, save, and they don't do anything, which is farthest from the truth, because we've done a lot of things, and a lot of our family and friends know, what, Grif, they're going somewhere every year. So they're expecting to see some pictures of where we've gone. And not only did we minimize our lifestyle, but we also started investing. And investing, I've always been a little bit more aggressive than my wife when it comes to investing. And when I set her up, she didn't realize that you can adjust your 401k when we first got married. And that's one thing also important to know, guys. If you have 401k, you can control the 401k. So if you haven't already talked to your employer, if you haven't already set up your 401k, make sure that you go ahead and talk to your HR department and adjust your 401k to be in more of a growth setting. And that's what we did. I basically, readjusted my wife's 401k, and let her see how she can control the 401k in terms of where the investments go. And when you're younger, when you're in your 30s, 20s, 30s, even in your 40s, right, you have a lot of years to grow that 401k. I strongly encourage you guys to look at doing it more on the aggressive side, on the growth side. But that's just a suggestion. That's just what we did. I'm trying to avoid telling you guys what to do, because I don't want to tell you guys what to do. I'm basically showing you guys what we did. But at the same time, it's kind of hard for me to kind of verbalize that. But anyways, so we set up a 401k for her. We set up a Roth IRA for her as well as myself. I had a Roth IRA and a 401k already set up before we got married, so that was already taken care of. So I set her up on a Roth IRA and 401k plan. And then, so we've been investing in those investments for a long time. But just about, I want to say about maybe 5 years ago or so, before retirement, I set up my own individual investment account. So I started investing by myself and set up my own portfolio. And that portfolio is more driven towards growth stocks as well as growth ETFs. Yeah, so that was one of the first things we did. We minimized the debt, then we went ahead and paid off the house, and then we went ahead and started investing, right? And with that said, those are the three main things that we did to kind of set us up for retiring early. And there is no magic sauce to this. I don't want to say there is. And I know there's a lot of people on YouTube, but to tell you, you need to do this, do this, do that. And I'm just going to do this channel to the best of my ability to kind of just show you guys what we did. And everybody's different in terms of how you prepare for retirement, how you invest, how you, live your lives. And I don't want to tell you that, my way is the only way or my way is the right way. It's just, I want to give you guys an option or an opportunity to select what you want to do with your lives to give you that chance to, retire early based upon what we did. That's how we're going to look at it. So anyways, but I thought this is an important episode to kind of get this ball rolling on top of, for the conversation. And, if you guys have questions, as I mentioned earlier in previous episodes, I mentioned earlier, leave a comment below and ask the questions. I think this is going to be more beneficial for me to kind of tell you guys what we did and kind of give you examples of what you can do to retire early based upon your questions. Because I really want to make this channel to be more of a community and, have an easy conversation. You can sit at home, watch me, and don't have to worry about what other people are thinking or saying or doing, and just, enjoy the content, and then hopefully you can benefit from it. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash the like button and be sure to subscribe as I have more content coming up here, not only about, finance and retiring early, but also coming up right now, we're going to also be looking for condo and start the condo search process. So make sure to stay tuned for our move here in Thailand. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Bye.